this core group of people that you play with. How did that kind of come together, and how has that affected the content you've made?
Yeah, so that has been the best and worst part of my time on YouTube. What I've always said is that you click on the video for the challenge, but you stay for the friend dynamic and the interactions, because halfway through these challenges, more often than not, it kind of falls apart, whether it's because we throw in the towel or Donovan says some dumb Those are always the best parts of the video, but you need to package the video. Anyway, Lightfall rolls around. I bought a motion capture suit because I was like, we need to keep going. It's like hanging on my thing over there. And it was a lot of money. It was not cheap. I had to convince my girlfriend, trust me, this is going to be worth.
How difficult is it to show this thing? Because I would love to, and I think everyone would love to see what this looks like. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another one-on-one interview with a fellow Destiny 2 content creator. My name is Sax, and today I have the privilege of chatting with one of the most imaginative creators in the D2 space. With projects ranging from full-blown animated series to Destiny 2 Nuzlockes, he's consistently pushing the boundaries of what content can be created within the world of Destiny. For myself and many others, his channel has been a lifeline as we continue to love the game even in the low times, always keeping things lighthearted and optimistic. ToadSmoothie, how are you doing today, man?
Wow, I was not expecting that grandiose of an introduction. I'm doing better after that.
There you go.
That's for
Heck
sure.
Yeah, man.
No, yeah, I'm excited to be here. I like talking Destiny. You know, I like to yap. And honestly, it's probably good that you're taking the yapping end of this, because if it wasn't you, it'd be my fiance, and she has better things to do. So.
There you go.
Happy to be here.
Well, awesome. Yeah, we were talking before about things, but man, I've watched your stuff for a long time. I've been inspired for my own clan antics by stuff that you and your friends get into, man. So let's hop right in, dude. Let's hop right in. Take us back to the beginning. What does your introduction to like just video games in general into Destiny, and then like where we've got today as you as a content creator, how we get here, how'd you fall in love with Destiny to the point where you want to make content for it?
So, all right, yeah. So I guess at the very, very top, I'm 22. So I didn't get to, as far as Bungie is concerned, like I wasn't around right when Halo 1 and 2, and I was a thing when 3 came out, but I wasn't,
Sure.
you know, a conscious enough to really understand. But when I was maybe 7, maybe 5, actually, my dad actually introduced me to Halo 1. Played through Halo 1, I really liked it, and then 2, 3, and that was kind of my first introduction. My first introduction to gaming was probably like Lego Batman, but that was my first introduction to the FPS genre, and it really hooked me, and it hooked me on Bungie and sci-fi and all these things. So then when Destiny 1 came out, after Halo Reach, I was all in. Like at that point, I'm a lifelong Halo fan. Like Halo is the greatest franchise of all time. And when it was announced that Bungie was doing another game, ironically enough, I wasn't hooked at first. My dad was like, you got to try this. Like, it's going to be amazing. Trust me, it's going to be amazing.
Shout out Dad.
Yeah, shout out Dad Smoothie.
He knew something we didn't.
He made it happen. So then the beta for Destiny 1 came out. I loved it. And ever since then, I've just devoured everything Destiny, except for, it's probably around Shadowkeep. I trailed off for like 2 years. Okay. And maybe not 2 years, maybe a year or two. There's definitely some content I've never done, but that's kind of, my dad is definitely the one that got me into it, and I've just been hooked ever since.
That's awesome. So how did you make that transition from, or what spawned on you wanting to make the transition from just playing the game to, taking the creative endeavor and, launching YouTube, doing that kind of stuff? What's that actually look like, your creator journey? Yeah,
for sure. So there's kind of two facets to this. The first is like, I've kind of always enjoyed making videos. I've always enjoyed telling stories. Like I grew up on, shocker, Red versus Blue was a big inspiration for me. And watching YouTubers make Minecraft videos back in the day, like I was making Minecraft videos on this same account. They're just all deleted now, years and years ago. Like this account is years old.
Okay.
Far older than people think. So I've been making content for a while. Like we used to do Halo machinima stuff, and then Minecraft videos and all that kind of stuff. But then, you know, you grow out of it and you stop and you're like, well, that was fun. Time to focus on things that matter, like high school. And and then the second part of it is COVID happened, and I was really bored. Like, my fiance, then girlfriend, went off to college. I didn't. I was working at a veterinary clinic, and I hated it. And so I started doing YouTube just as an experiment on the side around when Halo Infinite came out. I think my first video for Destiny was when they remastered Vault of Glass, and I was so happy because I love Vault of Glass. And I made a video talking about how I thought it was perfect, which really is kind of funny because I think it did set the trend for the channel of like, oh my God, this is perfect. Everything's amazing.
Yeah. I actually watched the video yesterday, just in prep, just trying to get
it's so bad in hindsight. I was so proud of it at the time, but good Lord.
I mean, you got to start somewhere. And to be honest, like it was cut together pretty well. Like I had in my mind, I was like, okay, he had done this in some capacity. Like obviously there wasn't a Destiny video there, but you had made a video before. So it does not surprise me that you say that. So.
It wasn't the first attempt, you know, it had happened many times before. And then I think it was How Not to Solo Prophecy. That was the video around May of 2022, I think, that really that video got me monetized, I think. And that was me like getting the hairball ghost shell for my girlfriend. And it was the first of the ToadSmoothie style that kind of evolved. It's just kind of been going ever since. But it was the history of content creation, and then COVID was the jet that propelled this beast into being.
Sure. Okay, so off the top, got to ask, where's the name come from? It's
a weird name.
It's so unique name. Though. It's like something that like you say it, and like anyone who's seen your stuff, like it catches. So like it's great there. But where does the name actually come from?
So there's a lot of history here. So the surprisingly
the deep lore.
It's very deep. So when I first started the channel, I'm a big Elton John fan. I know this is probably very not where people might think this is going, but
no, I did not expect that, but I love it.
I'm a big Elton John fan, so when I made that Vault of Glass video, and when I was doing Halo stuff, the name of the channel was Rocket Man. I want to say, I'm pretty sure it was Rocket Man, and I quickly realized that's probably not a very good idea because of the there's so much like cultural attachment to the name, and it's also, you know, Elton kind of owns that name.
Sure.
So I didn't want to touch it. And so I was like, okay, I need to change the name. I need to change it early if I want to have a shot at doing this. And so then I was scouring my brain banks, and I was like, really struggling to think of something. And so this is where the story takes a bit of a sad turn. And I talked about this when we did the face reveal video. I have a brother who people in my videos know as Duck. That's his screen name. He's in the room to the right of me. We live together, but he's in the videos with me all the time. But I had an older brother who unfortunately passed away in like 2018. It was January of 2018. He passed away, but his Xbox gamer tag was ToadSmoothie. Wow. And I thought it was so random at the time. I think it was literally just one of those Xbox pre-generated, like, you know, pick a gamer tag, and he thought ToadSmoothie was funny. And when I thought about it, I was like, okay, well, that's an idea, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, that's a really unique name, and it has a cool story to go along with it. So I just picked ToadSmoothie, and it turned out to be like apparently, I guess, the best gift he could have left me, because I don't really think the channel would be as recognizable if it weren't for such a silly name like that. So it ended up being, you know, something good to come out of something bad, which I think is the best we can hope for, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, my condolences, man, but that is awesome. I love how you have that little tie there and stuff, and so I think that's special, man.
Yeah, it makes the name a lot more meaningful.
It does for sure. And then you know, on top of that, like speaking about your brother, you know, talking about him being in some of the videos as well. How did this this core cast or this core group of people that you play with, because it's something that where we stick around and you hear the names constantly over the things, and I'm sure they ebb and flow depending on the state of the game and, you know, who's available and stuff like. But how did that kind of come together, and how has that affected the content you've made? Because you do, more than most creators, you do have a cast of characters, so to speak, that you play off of, and I think that
for sure
that is unique to your content.
Yeah, so that has been the best and worst part of my time on YouTube. Not worst because of any of them, but we'll get into that in a second. So yeah, the group tends to be the core group, and yet it changes, but tends to be me, my brother Duck, my fiance Axelochi, our friend Donovan, our friend John, and then our friend, usually the sixth of the core group is either our other friend Apples or Cyber. That's like usually the group.
Yeah.
Recently it's been Cyber because like Apples is a dad or whatever and has better things to
whatever.
do. Whatever. What a buzzkill. But so fiance
Me sweating over here with a pregnant wife.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean you have a child? We have raids to do and challenges to do.
Get in here, brother.
The best time on the channel was when his wife was pregnant, because he got to take off work for 2 weeks and we did so many raids. I think that was when one of our most popular videos, Garden of Gritty, was while his wife was like, while they had their child. So he was just off work and we could do whatever.
There you go.
But yeah, so obviously, you know, Duck and Axelochi, brother, fiance, that pretty self-explanatory. But so my fiance, Donovan, and John we all went to school together. So I met Axelochi in my sophomore year of high school. Donovan, I've known since I was in elementary school, and John, I've also known since I was in elementary school. And then Cyber, Apples was an online friend of John's. I met him through John. And then Cyber actually was the first like content creator friend that I made, and it was purely because of him. When I started getting monetized, he just cold reached out of nowhere. I had no idea who he was. He was like, hey, I'm doing this thing, this Fire Team of Fools thing. Can you come in and like, would you like to do a video with me? You know, if you don't have time, you don't want to, it's not a problem at all, you know. And I was like, I was on the fence. I was like, I mean, I don't know who this guy is. I have a lot to do. You know, I'm finally getting some momentum here. But I was like, you know what? Sure. You know, I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. And I don't ever like to say no to like people reaching out and opportunities to collab, because networking is good. And so we did the video. We really hit it off because we both, you know, liked things like Transformers and Red versus Blue. And so ever since then, he's kind of just been a staple to the online friend group, which is really cool because, you know, online with people, it's very hit or miss sometimes. You meet someone, you think you're really getting along, and then you just kind of stop getting along for whatever reason. But he's been a very consistently good friend over the last few years. And yeah, that's kind of how the group happened.
How impactful has having this like core group of people that you're doing? Is that more a response to the challenges and stuff that you're doing? It's like, oh, well, that's why we have this? Or are you creating the challenges for your channel because you have this group of people that you're playing with and you want to include them?
Over the course of the lifetime of the channel, it has drifted more from regular playthroughs of raids that are just kind of funny and things that happen. They're just kind of funny, but there's no challenge to... There is actively a point and a challenge and a thing we're trying to accomplish, and that is definitely a response to what people like to watch, and leaning into the things that are popular. But I definitely would not be able to do that without the group, and so I guess it is making those challenge because the group is there, and leaning into the friend dynamic, because ultimately, like, you can play Destiny single player, but it's a lot more fun with friends. It's much more enjoyable with friends. I only ever really play it when my friends are playing it. Yeah. And so I've always found, you know, we do solo dungeons and Nuzlocke and whatnot, which are solo, but the friend stuff is always the most fun, and it's always the most infectious, I think, to watch as well, because I think our group has a good dynamic. And so those challenges, what I've always said is that I think, whether people realize it or not, you click on the video for the challenge, but you stay for the friend dynamic and the interactions, because halfway through these challenges, more often than not, it kind of falls apart, whether it's because we throw in the towel or Donovan says some dumb shit. Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
No, you're good. You're good. Yep.
If Donovan like just says some dumb shit and we just go on a tangent for like 5 minutes, those are always the best parts of the video, but you need to package the video, right? It needs the makeup, the dressing, and that is the thumbnail and the title, even if that doesn't end up being the point. So it's definitely, the challenges tend to be a response to what people like to see, but also an excuse to get the group in, while also making money so I can continue to make the videos, because they take forever to edit. So I would say it's because we have the group, we think of the challenges that would best serve the group. Sometimes I put them through horrible things, and I feel really bad about that. But I said earlier that it was the best and worst part of the channel, and most people probably don't really think about this as a viewer, but you're very consciously aware of it as the content creator. And that is when you have a group dynamic on a channel, so you think of like Vanoss Gaming or any group of content creators or friend group, the identity of the channel is that group. Like, that group is baked into the channel's DNA. Sure. I will never be able to, nor do I want to, take them out of what makes this channel good, or at least what has made the videos good in the past. And that's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, it's cool to be able to just play stuff with your friends and upload the best moments, and people like it and people laugh at it. On the other hand, your friends aren't always going to be playing the game. Like, we haven't made a video altogether that isn't the animated stuff in like months. I mean, probably since the last raid came out.
Yep.
And that's just how it is. And so then I'm put in the situation where I have to realize, okay, and I've been thinking about this since Lightfall. Like, my friends are not always going to be playing this game. Yep. What do I do when that's not the case? And that is an everlasting challenge. That is an ongoing thing to figure out. And so that's why I say it's both a blessing and a curse, because when people get so accustomed to watching the group content, you have to then remind them that you yourself can still do interesting things even when they're not around. And that is challenging. Like, that's very challenging to do on YouTube.
It is. But man, I think you're spot on, because I love when I have group content. I don't do a ton, so just for context, like, a lot of my content is more guide based. It's for new and returning players, taking these very dense, whether it's like raid mechanics for Desert Perpetual or Salvation's Edge and stuff, and then being able to break them down bit by bit, and helping someone who's like, okay, well, I didn't even have situational awareness to realize where ads were spawning. It's like, well, now I can understand where I need to be at every moment. And so I'm taking that and trying to break down certain topics and things like that on my channel. But over time, it was tough, right? Like, when you're trying to develop what you're going to do on your channel, especially as like a Destiny creator. For those who don't realize, like, it can be hard sometimes, because if you're trying to get into the game of, okay, well, news related stuff for me is like a brick wall. It's like, there are so many people doing that exact same thing.
Everyone's doing it.
So I started doing this full time right before the Edge of Fate dropped. And so, dude, I was doing like 16, sometimes 17-hour days, laying down like well after my wife was to bed, and then waking up well before she was getting up, just to like be up doing, because I'm like, those are actually hours where I don't feel guilty because I'm editing, because, she's asleep and it doesn't matter. And that was detrimental. And thankfully, I'm much more adjusted when Renegades coming out. I know who I am as a creator. I know what it is. Leaning into stuff like this, right? Like, this will go on a second channel, but seeing that, hey, this is something that's sustainable. This is something that people are excited for. This is something that, there are other Destiny related podcasts, but this is like hey, one-on-one, let's sit down, let's talk. And so this is my long way of asking you, like, What did that look like for you early on? Because as I'm scrolling through your channel, coming up with questions, things that I wanted to talk about today, one thing was just like, how did you find that identity on your channel? Like, because some of those early, like you just mentioned, the Vaulted Glass is perfect video, and looking at that was just you talking about the game. And you had a couple of those videos early on where you're talking about artifact mod makeups and things like that. That's just you. Where did that turn take, and how did you find this niche that you're filling, which is, hey, it's going to be funny, funny meme edits cutting in. And like, I find it's the lighthearted, optimistic stuff I said in the intro. How did you find that? And was that a struggle, or did that come pretty naturally once you found it? You're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I think that it was definitely, so I had what a lot of people do when they first get into content creation or want to get into content creation is they want to have it all figured out right from the beginning. And thankfully, that wasn't even something I was thinking about because I truly didn't see it as a job. It was basically shit posting. It was like, I have an idea for something. Destiny is overcomplicated, which it is. That video still holds true. This game is far too complicated. But I was like, I'm going to talk about it. I feel like I have something to say about this. I feel like it's not being said. I'm going to say it. But then, part of that was I mentioned the prophecy video. That was just one of the things. It's like, okay, Axelochi wants this ghost shell. I'm going to get it for her. I might as well chronicleize the experience. And I think I pretty quickly realized in the editing process, like, oh, this is fun. Like, the editing the other videos was cool and all, but this is actually fun, and I'm enjoying it. And so I was really glad to see, the day I posted that prophecy video, I had an interview at like a pet store lined up.
Okay.
And I noticed the video was doing well, and so I told them no. And I was really nervous about that because I was like, dude, I'm like 17. Maybe I was 18 at the time. Like, I'm like 18. Sure. I should probably be looking at getting a job. And like, am I really going to risk this on YouTube? But I think it was like you were kind of saying, that moment of realizing this is the thing that other people aren't doing. This is a niche that I'm kind of realizing hasn't been tapped into. And the only other person at the time really who was doing it was Riley Reloaded. And he hasn't made a Destiny video in a while, I don't think. But it felt like kind of uncharted territory, and it was fun, and it felt more true to me than just, another week, boys. Like, that's not. There are people that do that, and that's not me. And I always tell myself, like, I'm not gonna be this tutorial guy because I can't be bothered. Like, I'll watch other people's tutorials, but that's not. I am such a creatively minded person that doing tutorials would be like sitting in a cubicle for me. Like, I just wouldn't be able to do it. And so the creative stuff, the funny stuff, it scratched an itch that I do think was pretty immediately recognized, and I never really looked back since then. Well, that's a lie. I started looking back recently because I was just kind of talking about, started realizing, okay, maybe I should focus on myself a little bit more, like do some things that I can do more regularly, and I know that I like to talk. So with Edge of Fate and going into Renegades, I've kind of opened this, in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe we will do occasional videos that are just talking about things, or, talking about whatever it is I want to talk about. Because sometimes, I'm sure you feel the same way, like, I'll just have something on my mind, and I'm like, I need to just say this. Like, I need to tell someone this, because I feel like it's important. So, I think it was pretty immediate that I realized it, but I wasn't searching for it. I think that's the thing that a lot of people fall into, is searching for your thing, because everyone's told that they need to find a niche, but really you will stumble into it more often than not. You're not going to be sitting in a boardroom with a whiteboard and then circle this big thing in red marker and go, that's the thing that's going to make me $1 million. It won't. It just won't. You need to try a lot of stuff first. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's great. My heart behind my content is coaching. Like, I enjoy coaching people. I enjoy, like, hopping in a raid with someone who's like, I have never done a raid before. I've never done this, and be like, all right, let's do it. Like, and I'll surround them with a good team, right? Like, it's very, like, we could low man this at this point, so it's fine. But, like, helping people do things that they never thought possible.
right,
in the game. And exactly what you said earlier. There is nothing like Destiny, the sandbox, the gunplay, how the interconnection of the weapons and the abilities, like no one's doing it like that. Other companies, honestly, they're not even really getting that close. Like Borderlands, they come around every 4 or 5 years and they're like, hey, here we are again. And it just kind of does the same thing, right? Like, because they don't want to dive full-fledged into the live service thing. Yeah. So that brings us in. But with the abilities, the sandbox just as a whole, no one's really doing that. The other thing they're not really doing is providing that raid and dungeon experience, just getting in with friends.
That is and just very kind of like to Destiny.
It is, man. And so I love sharing that with people because that was so instrumental in what I did. I remember the first experience I had. So my user tag or whatever username on Xbox was Sax on, Sax off. Like that's just what it was. And so no one would use that, right? Like no one's going to be able to use a 4-syllable name for call outs just across whatever is going on. And so my first thing I did LFG, it was like went on Discord, I found something, I'm in there, I'm super nervous, I don't know who these people are, a little socially awkward at this point, just trying to make sure like I'm holding my own. And we're doing Garden of Salvation.
Oh,
and
God.
All I'm hearing is there's Sax. And I'm like, that's what they're calling me, right? Like for call outs, but like they're also talking about the Vex sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I had no
that's
clue,
confusing.
dude.
That
I had
is
no
confusing.
clue what was happening. I was like sweating bullets. My hands are getting clammy. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I think we're on second encounter. So there's people all over the map. I don't even understand the whole baseball diamond, like the shape of the arena we're in.
Dude,
I was
sorry.
told to
no
sit
one should
here.
have to LFG Garden of Salvation. That's horrible. That's diabolical.
But to be honest, man, like those people are like the core group of people that I play with, I Sherpa with, because we just grew and developed together. All of that to bring up to the fact that like the only reason I'm still playing Destiny is because I found a friend group, is because I was able to lock in that capacity, is because I was able to make my own fun in the game. And I say that often. There are times where Bungie hands us the fun. The best times that they've handed us the fun were like the delayed times, like Into the Light, the 30th anniversary, those moments where they've handed it and we're like, oh, we're swimming in the fun of the game. And then there's sometimes, man, where things get low and we had to find a way to make our fun. And so that's what I get from your videos, man. That's what a lot of the raid challenges, a lot of the times where you're like, hey, I'm going to just explore what this new expansion has and just sit here for 12 hours and just do this.
I don't recommend it.
No, I don't know that I want to do it. And that's why it's so interesting. You saying like, hey, I enjoy editing the videos and I found so much fun doing that. Cause for me, it's like how much information per minute, per scene, whatever, for my videos can I get in so that people can go through and understand this concept so that maybe they feel bold enough to.
They can do it for themselves. Cause a lot of people don't, that's the unfortunate part about Destiny is like the raids and dungeons are the best part, and so many people just don't touch them. Like they just don't do them because they don't have a group of people to do it with, which is unfortunate. Like that really sucks. And so I have to remind people about that a lot. It's like, guys, remember, whatever percentage it is, it's a very small percentage of Guardians that have ever actually set foot in a raid. Like not a lot of people do that. And so and I think a lot of people tend to forget that when they're giving Bungie feedback and complaining about things. It's like, okay, you got to see this from the perspective of the studio. Everyone says they want Wrath of the Machine back, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want it too, but you do need to understand. Like, you all know, I did a poll about this once. I was like, if you got Wrath of the Machine back with SIVA versus just with regular Fallen, like they didn't bring SIVA back, it was just a Wrath of the Machine raid with Fallen skins thrown on top of it so they don't need to redesign the enemies, would that satisfy you? And I think the majority of people said no. And I was like, well, there you go, guys. If they don't have plans for SIVA and they know you're not going to accept it if it's not literally SIVA, why would they design all this stuff for one raid that very few people are going to play? Like, we're all going to play it and we're going to enjoy it and we're going to love it, but the people that Bungie needs to be targeting right now, they're not going to touch it because they historically don't touch it, which is unfortunate. I don't envy Bungie in that situation.
So from a completionist standpoint, I think they need to do it. just from the fact that they have everything else, right? They did everything else. They're also such hits, right? Like then they brought them back, the little player count bump and stuff. But you're absolutely right. Like if they don't have plans for SIVA in the story, and they've said they don't, I think that's a mistake. Personally, I think it's a right storyline that they could, a narrative thread that they could pull on.
If they didn't do it in Ash and Iron, they have no plans. Like they killed SIVA outright in Ash and Iron.
The way I thought when we were going the entire time, the way that they got Lodi's actor in there and Ikora to just talk about SIVA the whole freaking time.
The whole time.
I'm like, they could have, they had it like they were balancing the whole like stack of plates on their finger, and it could have fell the right way had they opened up that damn war satellite or whatever, and it was just red. Yeah. Just let it be red, dude. That's all I wanted, and it wasn't. I'm like, why?
The whole time you're going through Ash and Iron, they're like, SIVA this, SIVA that. You're like, is SIVA in the room with us? Like, it doesn't feel like it is, you know?
Yeah.
And you look around, it's just all dead, you know, SIVA everywhere. It's like, come on, Bungie. Why are we going back to the Playlands?
Had the SIVA been dead on the exterior and then just getting gradually more saturated as we went?
That would have been so cool.
Brother,
that would have been so
cool.
right
there.
And people would have gotten so excited. Like,
and you're telling me we have a time-traveling, human that is now the emissary of the Nine, and we can't find a way to bring SIVA back.
They could if they wanted to. I don't think they want to.
It just goes to show, like, I'm a generally optimistic person on my channel as well. When people come onto my streams and they start talking and they're like, oh my God, the game's dead, and I'm sure you see that all the time just as well as every other D2 creator does.
People are saying the game's dead? No, I'm
yeah, a couple times. Just a couple times.
Just a few times here and there. I see it.
Yeah, every now and then. And it's one of those things where there are so many things where it's just tone deaf. Like, dude, you are just a hive mind. You're just speaking what you've read on Reddit or whatever. You don't even play the game. You're just, I don't know. I don't even know why you're doing this. But
and then they'll tell you that they haven't played the game since Forsaken or Final Shape or whatever. And I'm like, then what are you doing here?
Yeah. Why are you even on this? Like, why are you even seeing this video? But I guess the point I was trying to make is that I do understand sometimes when people are like, hey, I don't feel like Bungie's listening. Hey, I don't feel like they have any idea what they're doing. And I'm like, I know that there are a lot of really good people. We've talked about this on the last couple episodes. There are a lot of really, really good, really passionate people at Bungie who really, 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 really want Destiny to succeed and have a long future and have another 10 years and this saga to be incredible. And you can see that in the Vidocs. You can see that when they're talking. But man, there are a lot of decisions that they make. It's just
like on the one hand, you're sitting here and you're like, guys, Bungie, there's a lot of really great people over there. What the fuck are they doing? Like,
for real, dude.
Why did they just do that?
Bro, the amount of times where so one little niche of my channel that has become is like, I'm the #1 Choir of One stan, like on the internet.
Okay.
Like I have so many videos trying to explain to people. So I don't know even if you, like, most people didn't realize this, but the tangled mess. If you got Choir of One during episode Echoes, it was perfect, right? Like you just do the normal storyline, do whatever, and like you could follow guides. The moment Revenant came out and they crashed the helm, everything untangled. I put out a top 50 exotics video in Choir of One, and I was just preaching the gospel of Choir of One, dude. Like just whatever. And then I had people just coming in over and over and over again, like, hey, I just saw your video. How do I get Choir of One? And I said, oh, you just do this thing for episode Echoes. Oh, I can't find it. And so I start hearing more and more and more people saying, hey, bro, like, we cannot get this gun.
Yeah.
So then I end up finding out, dude, it's all intertangled where you have to do like this starting mission and you got to make sure you've started the Edge of Fate or on the Final Shape, but you don't have to finish the Final Shape.
It gets really messy.
It was a mess, dude. And so I made like a ton of videos to get people doing that. And so that's kind of become a thing where I'm at. But man, we get into Edge of Fate and I'm like, okay, the portal's here. It's going to fix everything. You can get in here. You'll be able to get the exotics. It kind of was that way for the first half. And then Ash and Iron came out and they brought Presage and Avalon in. You cannot get those weapons. You cannot get the exotics. You can't get the intrinsics. You can't get the catalyst from that, but you can in the Legends rotator. Dude, it's like they just
It's so messy.
I hate the spaghetti code things. But dude, at this point I'm like I can't defend it. Like, you know.
Well, it's hard too because Destiny has gotten to a point where it's so large. Destiny 2 is such a massive game, and they really want to keep it not that massive, which I understand. Like, I'm not a Call of Duty player. I used to really like zombies, but I haven't played much recently. A big reason for that is because I don't want to install a 100 gigabyte launcher every time I want to play the game. Like, and then install the 100 gigabyte game on top of that 100 gigabyte launcher just to play the game. So I get it. You know, I get them wanting to keep size down. I get them wanting to keep things streamlined. And I also get them wanting to keep the game moving forward and evolving. Like you mentioned, the helm crashing. It's like, okay, if I'm Bungie and I'm like, I want the helm to crash in Revenant, but we can't because of this quest, I would go, okay, then work around the quest, find something else to do with the quest, crash the helm. But that gets complicated when things keep evolving over the course of many seasons, and by Shadow and Order next week, we're like, okay, now to get Choir of One, just go talk to this computer in the tower, and it'll just give it to you. And now, but no one's gonna make a video on that, like, so then you have a bunch of confused people.
Well, you might be talking to the one person who would make a video on it, just because.
Well, there you go.
the amount of people who watch those videos, dude, just because they're ravenous for it and trying to, like, people want these. Barodiad was such a sore point this last season, man. Like, the fact that they said it's coming back in the portal, like, you'll be able to get it down the line, and then just, you know, the expectation was that we would be able to get it sometime last season, and then just having to continually remind people, hey, it's not in the game. It's not in the game.
It's coming next week, right? With Renegades?
Yeah.
Okay.
Derealize is coming back next week. We will see, because it's not in the rotator.
We'll see if Barodiad comes with it.
It's not in the rotator. And the other problem, too, with the rotator, and then we'll get back on track, because I have completely derailed this, but, like, the other problem with the rotator is that it's a 7-week rotation with all of the missions. Starcross, Encore, Kelsfall, they drop literally nothing. If you run them right now, none of the chests anywhere in the missions drop any loot.
Like the secret chests you're talking about?
No, any chest. The final chest, any chest anywhere in those missions, as you go through, drop nothing, because they're always in the portal.
God.
They drop this, so they completely broke them. So I was trying to test and be like, okay, if people didn't want to ramp up, because you got to get like a score in. Like Encore to get. I have a whole video breaking this down. I called it my poem, or it was like portal ops, exotic mission. Like I created this whole formula, infographic, whatever. And it was just a mess. Like this tangled. It was like I had a cork board. I was just like pointing all over the place, just like what's going on with it. And the reality is, it is so inconsistent that people get frustrated with it, man. Like, get frustrated with all kinds of stuff, because they're like, it's like working a job, right? Like, you're working a job, but you got to learn all these, like, side skills to be able to enjoy it. And so let's bring this back. This isn't a great segue, but one thing I said in the intro, and you know, this is something I truly do believe, is like, I think that a large appeal of your channel, and what I try to do in my content as well, is keep things optimistic. I'm still genuinely loving Destiny, so it's easy for me to talk about it like that. But where do you come down on that? Like, how do you make the intentional choice to keep things lighthearted, to keep things optimistic, to do that? Or does that kind of naturally happen because you have this friend group environment? What, you know?
Yeah, it's, I mean, I'm generally a very optimistic person, but it is a very conscious choice to keep things lighthearted and keep things optimistic. Like, I'm historically an easy person to please. Like, I like to be happy about things, and so I tend to just look at the positives versus look at the negatives, even if in hindsight I can see, I see what people are saying. Like, but when it comes to Destiny and the channel, from the very beginning, that was the one thing that was a very conscious choice, was being like, I'm tired of seeing everyone like shit on this game that I love. I'm just gonna, I mean, it's in the bio of the channel. It's like, I just want to remind people why this game is fun, because it seems like people forget that all the time. And not that I don't have problems with Destiny. Like, I haven't played Destiny really intensely since Edge of Fate came out. Ash and Iron just didn't do it for me. And that's reflective in the channel. Like I've taken a fat break from the game recently,
Yep.
which I think has been healthy because I'm very excited for Renegades now. Like my meter is back and I'm ready to go. But I do think that generally, even when the game has been at its worst, I've always tried to have a, you know, try to look at the bright side mentality while also being critical of the game where I need to, because I feel like sometimes people are, you kind of mentioned earlier, like the Twitter people that come in and just start crapping on the game on a channel that they have no business being on if they don't play the game anymore. It's like, you have to tune those people out. And thankfully, you know, I've always said that your audience is a reflection of you. Like if you make content that is heavily critical of the game and always being very hyperbolic and dramatic, your comment section is going to be hyperbolic and dramatic. That's just how it is. But for the longest time, I didn't get those people. Like I didn't get those people in the comments, and it was so nice. Like if I just ignored what I was seeing some other YouTubers saying, it was like this was the best game ever. And I really enjoyed that. It wasn't until somewhat recently that I started, I think it was before Edge of Fate came out, when player sentiment was like in the trash. And people were just not really looking forward to Edge of Fate. And now, I would argue now player sentiment is worse after Ash and Iron. But things were really bad. And I remember thinking that while I understand why people feel this way, I feel like there's another perspective here that needs to be said. So I made a video. I don't even remember what the video was called, but the thumbnail said like, "You're not alone." And it was like 2 guardians. And the whole video was just me talking about the state of things. But I don't even necessarily remember what I said. But it was kind of going after people who are a tad hyperbolic when it comes to, you know, feeding off of player sentiment and putting a spotlight on the most sensational things that they know will get a rise out of people, and feeding into those comments that are like, dead game, you know, why are we still playing? I haven't played in X amount of years. And that video, which I won't name names, but some people definitely took that video out of context or didn't get the point of that video. I saw some reactions to that video where the point just kind of right over the head. And I was like, guys, because some people I saw saying this guy is really just saying that Bungie can do no wrong and that you all are being toxic if you criticize the game. And I was like, guys, that is not what I'm saying in this video. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that there is a lot to criticize, but there is also sometimes a level of criticism that feels performative, and that there is a lot of good to be had here, and there are a lot of very talented, very passionate people working at Bungie. And I think it would do everyone a little better to kind of have more nuance in this discussion of, you know, I don't even remember a lot that was in that video, but that was when I started kind of maybe introducing more of that, you know, I don't know what you would call it, the war on rhetoric that happens in the comment section sometimes over Destiny good or Destiny bad. That was one of the first times that it really started seeping into the comments of the channel. And part of me was like, oh, I really don't like that. I think I want to go back to just making like funny, silly stuff. And you know, maybe this isn't my place. And then another part of me was like, no, that needed to be said. Like, I think this was important, and I'm willing to take that backlash, you know, if it means that all the other people who did, you know, resonate with the video resonated with it. So it's tricky sometimes to stay optimistic. And I have been very vocal on streams recently about how, I don't think, you know, I don't think Destiny is being pushed in a direction that I like. Like, I don't think it is. I'm not into the hyper, like, MMOification, the build crafting. That's just not my speed. I like to... I played in D1. I like to grind for something for hours to get a weapon I want and just be happy with the weapon that I got. But nowadays, things are a lot more complicated. There's a lot more different types of people that play. And so I have my own desires and things that I'd like to see come to the game that I do understand might not resonate with what a lot of other people want to come to the game, like what you might not want to come to the game. And so it's, I love the game and I love the world, but I do need to kind of understand that there is a world where at some point, whether I realize it in Renegades or Shattered Cycle or Alchemist, you know, okay, maybe this game has actually stopped being fun for me, and I truly am just here because I love the world and I love I sometimes really, really love some of the activities that Bungie makes.
Sure.
Even if most of them don't do it for me, I will still always try to stay as positive as possible, because I just don't think me being so incredibly negative is helpful at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really helpful. There's a difference between being critical and just kind of bashing the game because it's the cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'd be adding anything in that regard. You know, if there are other people for that.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Yeah. There are some people that just, they get off on just like anything that's bad, just like grabbing it and throwing that. So I for sure have not permeated to a place where I'm going to have anyone reacting to what I'm putting out there. But knowing, I think you're spot on, man. I've said this so many times that like your audience, the comment section, the people who are coming into your streams, the people who are doing that, like, yeah, you're going to get bad actors, right? You're going to get someone who comes in and just off a whim. But like, if things are trending in a direction, you are the compass that's guiding it that way, right? Like you
at the end
are.
of the day, it's your channel, right? It's not their channel; it's yours.
Exactly. And so you can get rid of people, you can do whatever, but you can snuff out the things that come in. Like I keep things pretty chill. I'm a pretty laid back guy, but like when I have people come in, first time, you can see, okay, this is the first time they've left a comment on my chat, or they're coming in on a live stream trying to derail. I will very quickly, very succinctly, for everyone who's watching this pop up, because it's popping up on my screen, whatever, when I'm streaming, I'm like, I'm snuffing this out immediately. And then we're getting back. Like, I'm not going to linger on it and be like, hey, fuck off. And then let's go, that kind of thing. Cause that's just not what we're doing here. Right. Like that's not the content. That's just not how it is. If you hate the fact that I'm optimistic or I enjoy something that I enjoy in my life, that says way more about you. Like,
and it sucks too, because it's easy to really pay attention to the negative comments. When you can get, if you have 100 comments in a video, 95 of them can be positive, but the 5 that are negative, you remember those. Like those are the ones that stick in your mind. And one thing that you have to exhibit self-control sometimes in, especially in the comment section, not necessarily on streams. Like I'm a lot more kind of like what you were just saying, of noticing things, bringing it up, and like you said, kind of snuffing it out or acknowledging it and moving on. But then there comes a point in comment sections where you will see someone with the most brain dead take you've ever seen. I'm like, brother,
sure.
I don't think you watched 2 minutes of this video, and I think one ear was disabled for half of that. Like I don't. But you, at some point, you just have to suck it up and be like, this person is not living in this reality. I'm just gonna move on. Sometimes one will really piss me off, and I can't help but like put some snide comment under theirs. But more often than not, it's like you have to ground yourself and be like, it's okay. This person's opinion is not reflective of my audience's opinion. This is just one of those bad actors. But it's hard. Like that takes a lot of self-control to do, right? Yeah. And that's one of the hardest parts of being a content creator sometimes. Unless you are looking for stuff like that, then you like it. Then if you're
going out of your way, so let me ask you this, because this is a kind of a niche thing, but I think people will find this interesting. So guys, if you don't know, when you make videos on YouTube, you get access to what is known as YouTube Studio. This is something that is where you see all your stuff. This is where you see your monetization. This is where you see your comments. This is where you see how your videos are performing, things that they start. How long did it take you to stop checking that constantly?
I never checked it. I
really,
from day one. I told myself,
phenomenal.
I'm not looking at this because it's just, I overthink everything, and I'm like a sponge when it comes to like overthinking a video's performance or its reception. Yep. I learned very early on, I just can't check it unless I know a video is doing well. Then I'll check it, because I'm like, I just want to see it. We'll post a. There, you get to this point where you kind of just know, okay, we just did a video. It's like, can you beat Salvation's Edge using only trace rifles? And it's a super pretty thumbnail, and it's a raid video, and it's a challenge, and I know a lot of people are going to click on it, and you see the comment notifications coming in. You're like, oh, this video is doing well. So I'll, like, a couple hours after, like, open YouTube Studio and be like, number one of 10, let's go. I knew that was going to happen. But more often than not, that isn't the case. So you need to, like, if you're the type of person who does like to look at it, which I think the vast majority of content creators do, which I do think is a good thing.
I'm not sure if like to look at it's the right way to describe
like
it.
to look at it, but do
we
look at
do
it.
look at yeah.
Yeah. Like is not the right word.
Yeah.
But I have gotten to this point, and I think there's a lot that could be gained from looking at it, right? Like, it is knowledge to be had in looking at your analytics, but there is a lot of just heartbreak to be had looking at your analytics as well.
God, yeah.
And I recognized that very early on. I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm not here to min-max my channel. I'm not here to be like, do more of this, and this is when the viewer retention cut off. People stopped watching when Donovan, said this. Like, I'm not
damn it, Donovan.
That. Yeah, I'm like, Donovan, the viewer retention, you can't be doing shit like that. We talked about this. But like, I don't really care about that. I'm like, I'm gonna make these videos the way I want to make them, and if people watch them, people watch them. And sometimes that like changes, but yeah, that I don't like YouTube Studio. And it's not because it's not useful. I just don't like looking at it because it stresses me out. Even when a video does... That's not true. When a video does well, that's the only time I ever feel like I can relax a little bit. Like, I'm a very gung-ho person when it comes to this job. You kind of mentioned earlier, like 16-hour workdays. I am no stranger to. I mean, God, my sleep schedule when Lightfall was a thing. Lightfall was when the channel peaked. Absolutely, it was when the channel peaked. That was when I was having the most fun, making videos and playing the game daily. But I mean, literally, day in, day out, get up, work, go to bed 2 minutes after working. Like, I get that from the outside, content creation is like this dream job, and it is. Like, it's a dream job. I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. However, and like my friends give me shit for this all the time because they're much more typically minded when it comes to like jobs, how you live your life, how you mature. They tend to fall into the camp of like, oh, that guy, like he's not working hard. Like, he's not doing anything. He's just playing games. I'm like, brother, I'm working harder than you. And I don't mean I'm in the mines physically working harder than you. I mean, I'm here every day sitting in this chair trying to think of what we're going to do next, editing a video, trying to make it perfect, obsessing over a thumbnail, worrying that something's not doing too well, like contacting people to organize stuff. Like, there is so much that goes into being a content creator that people don't realize. And it's not to say that like I just said, oh, I'm working harder than you. I'm not saying I'm working harder than someone who's like mining coal. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's a different kind of working hard. And like, I don't check out on the weekends. I work on the weekends. I don't come home at 5. I keep going. Like, there's no schedule. There's no separation from work and life. And if a video doesn't do well, I take that personally as I need to work harder. And that's not healthy. Like, that's not good. But that's just, it's hard to not feel that way because you want to keep doing this. You want to allow yourself to keep having this job. But you only have this job if you keep putting in sometimes ungodly amounts of like hours and work. And a lot of people don't realize that, which I understand, right? I understand how it looks on the outside, but yeah, it can be rough sometimes mentally, not physically rough, but like mentally it can be just very exhausting thinking about it all the time.
Yeah, dude, I resonate with so much you just said. I already mentioned earlier, it was an insane time period starting at the Edge of Fate and kind of learning what that looks like and learning, okay, what my niche is, what I'm doing there. But yeah, man, I think that the fact is like you guys like at home, like you see people and you're like, oh, they're content creators. What you don't see is like we have to be our own like full marketing department and graphic design department and make these key decisions on like what are we going to prioritize? What is the video? You don't just
play the game. You like, people always tell me, they'll come in streams and be like, well, you play Destiny full time, or you play Destiny's job. Like, no, I don't. Like, look at my Steam hours. I do not play this game that much because I'm editing, like you just said, graphic design, sound design, like marketing, for me, animating. Like, there is so much that goes into it that transcends just playing Destiny, that I do get a bit insulted when people be like, well, you just play Destiny for a living. I'm like, brother, go watch the How Hard Can Ralk Kick video. I do not play Destiny for a living. Like, that video, did not perform very well, and I kind of knew it wouldn't, but it was a bit of a kick to the gut because I spent so much time. It's a very game theory-esque video, and it's like start to finish insane editing. Like insane editing. There's a bit about the 10-minute mark. It's like a 15-minute video, I think. There's a bit at about the 10-minute mark where I was genuinely getting so fatigued that I put a GIF of a cat eating salmon on screen. And I was like, please just watch this GIF. I need a break. And then, like, right when I was about to get back into it, the text switched from that to like, oh boy, here we go. And a big ass health bar came on screen with like an equation. And oh my God. I was like, guys, we don't just play Destiny. We love Destiny and we play it a lot. But sometimes you have to play it to feed the content that you want to make, and that's where the bulk of the work goes for anyone, really. Like for whether it's you, whether it's me, whether it's Astacross, like so much of that time, maybe Astacross is a bad example because he does have like editors and thumbnail designers. Like there's people working around the clock to make sure his shit comes out when it does. For sure. But for most people,
but to his credit, right? Like to his credit and to some of the other like large creators who get shit right, like they like I think about like, you know, all the crap that Rick Cactus gets and stuff, and I say this often, that brother has earned the like the spot he has, right? Like the amount
they had
of
to
people
work so hard to get to that point. Like what we see now is just like I can criticize Astacross all day if I want to about like thumbnails or titles or his effect on the community that I feel someone like him has had. I should also say, like, for the record, I don't hate Astacross. Like, this is not a hit piece on Astacross. But it's hard to not feel that way sometimes when you see those videos pop into your feed. Like, oh, man, I kind of wish you just would have titled this something a little nicer. But he has worked very hard to get to that point. And it's easy to write that off when you just see the result, right? It's easy to write off, like, well, he just streams Destiny all day. It's like, but do you realize he's been doing this for years and years? He's been here for like 9 years, and now he can do that. But I guarantee you, he was grinding his ass off the same way any up-and-coming content creator is and feels like they are, you know, for years before he was like a Destiny household name.
For sure. So let's talk about this. So we're talking about being in the trenches of the editing and stuff, but man, let's be honest, the content you've chosen to endeavor into is a very, very taxing level, right? So
that's like, right. It's like you say, I just spent like 5 minutes bitching, but I also made this bed, so I'm sleeping in it. Like no one made me do this.
Sure. So let's talk about that. So guys, what I'm referencing here is Toad creates so many videos that have just like fully 3D rendered anime. I said this in the opening, like animated series where you're directing it, you're coming up with dialogue, you're pulling people together to do these group things, the challenges you're doing custom pieces here. Can you explain some of the stuff that you are doing? What does that actually look like, and where did that come into your content creation? Because you did not do that all super early on, but like where did that that crossover happen where you wanted to integrate that?
Yeah, so I'm not quiet about this. Like the animated stuff is by far and away my favorite thing to do. And ultimately that is my passion, right? Like I don't want to be a YouTuber forever. I would like to go into animation or filmmaking or the game industry. Like, dude, if Bungie would ever like just someone's opinion on something, I'm right here. Like that's like, I would love that. I genuinely don't want to, I love content creation, but it's very mentally tiring. Sometimes you'd like to just check out after 5. I'd like to come home from something, you know? So the animated stuff is a long time. Like that is my end game. That is my end goal of like, this is what I really, really, truly want to be doing. And I'm incredibly passionate about it. Where it kind of came from, so... Okay, I should probably, I'll address the topic, then I'll explain the topic. So, yeah, we have this animated series that I'm making called Redacted, and we're on episode 4 right now. And yeah, it's just a fan-made animated series. It's very similar to Red versus Blue. And that sprung up, we started earlier this year. And it didn't come out of nowhere necessarily. So back, I think the first time I started doing the animated stuff was me and my friends did a Petra's run, I think it's called. We did a Petra's run, and on our, I think it was the 7th attempt. Our 7th attempt, it was the first time we made it to Riven, and we did it. Like, we did it completely legitimately. We didn't cheese it. Like, it was our first time getting to Riven, and we beat the raid. And I thought it would be cool because I sometimes when we get to raid bosses for the first time, I'll give them like a Borderlands style splash screen.
Yeah.
And it started with Oryx, and when we were there, Last Wish is my favorite raid. So I was like, I want to do something a little special for Riven. So I booted up Blender for the first time in like years and got a Riven model, put it in the first Dreaming City looking environment that I could find, and just had this little sequence where it did some stuff. I don't even remember all the thing. It was very, very basic. It was very primitive. And Riven like looked up at the camera and roared, and there was a splash screen, and it was like the run continued. But that was both just something I thought would be cool, but it was also an excuse to start learning animation again, because It's another thing that back to the early days of ToadSmoothie content creation, when I was young, I was trying to learn animation with my dad, like on Poser, Lightwave, SFM, like anything. I hooked up an Xbox 360 Kinect to my computer for extremely primitive like motion capture when I was like 10. Like this has been in the making for a while. But after that, there was that video, and then there was the Witch Queen Nuzlocke, which spawned as an idea that I had to integrate the Pokemon Nuzlocke format into Destiny, but then it turned into an excuse to keep animating. Because there was another very primitive hand animated sequence in there. It was like an introduction to Savathûn. Anyway, Lightfall rolls around. I bought a motion capture suit because I was like, we need to keep going. We need to keep this going. It's like hanging on my thing over there.
That's awesome.
And it was a lot of money. It was not cheap, but I was like, I had to convince my girlfriend at the time. I was like, trust me, this is going to be worth. And then, so I bought it. I spent way too much money on it, and it is the best thing I've ever purchased.
Really?
I've never gotten more use.
How difficult is it to show this thing?
So, okay.
Is it possible at all? Okay, because I would love to, and I think everyone would love to see what this looks like.
Okay, here we go. So, this is the thing. It has these, you can't see them, but it has sensors like,
okay.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there. There's a hard thing.
Gotcha,
right there.
yeah.
It has sensors everywhere. There's a thing back here that comes out. It's like the headband that you put on your head.
Oh, that's cool.
It has 2 battery packs. There's one here for the gloves, because there's also gloves. And there's a power bank over here for the rest of the suit.
Wow.
But this thing's great. It's super finicky sometimes. Okay. Like, it can really be a bitch to get going. It's quite honestly not as simple as you just throw on the suit and do the thing, and it just works. All of a sudden, your Guardian is moving, and it's flawless. There's so many stages to it, but it makes things way easier, like way easier. So I bought that around Lightfall, and then we did the Lightfall Nuzlocke again. Had more animated bits as an excuse to use this thing and learn. And then fast forward to like Final Shape, we had done multiple Nuzlockes. And animated stuff. Every time they got bigger and bigger, more and more involved, to the point where with the Final Shape, there were like 8 multi-minute animated scenes in like one part of the Nuzlocke. And then we did the raid, and there was this like big sequence. We had, I had gotten another person on to help me animate the Scorn and the Dread. I've gotten someone to commission like a custom Ahamkara model. Like, we've gotten people making music, and it's turned into this whole thing, and it's taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot about directing and project management, but ultimately, and it's never profitable. Like, these things are never profitable, because if you were to do the calculations, right, of how long it takes to work on, God, let's just say one episode of Redacted versus the return on investment, like, it's a passion project through and through. It's not profitable at all, but I truly love it. And after Final Shape, because when we first started really integrating story into the videos, which was the Witch Queen Nuzlocke, there was an inkling of an idea where I was like, this could be an isolated thing, but what if it wasn't? What if this was the beginning of something down the line? And so after Final Shape came out, I was like, all right, it's time to stop like messing around, clearly this is something I really, really want to do. Let's make an animated series. And I'd had ideas for the series for a while. I didn't tell anyone we were working on it. We just, I say we, like, I do pretty much everything when it comes to the directing and the animating and all of that. But it's a group effort in terms we get everyone in to voice act it, you know? We worked on episode 1 in secret. I didn't tell anyone about it. And it was really cool because I designed a multi-level like cipher for people to solve that I took. So the way I released the episode, I'm still very proud of this. I went into Blender, I went into the helm, and I got a looping shot of a monitor in the helm, and I just slapped a cipher on it that was multi-layered, which I guess is bad practice in like cipher cracking community, but whatever. It was a multi-layer cipher. It started with binary to something else, and then it ended with I think it was a Caesar cipher, and it was pasted on the screen, and I just live streamed the screen. Okay. And what the cipher led to was a hyperlink to an unlisted YouTube video that was a teaser for the first episode. And the moment someone figured that out, I swapped screens on the live stream and played the first episode. And it was really fun. Like, people were really excited. It was clear that it was kind of the start of this thing. And ever since then, we've just been, it has been by bar none the thing I'm most passionate about. But they take a really long time. I'm sorry, I'm getting like so just sidetracked. I could talk about the series for literal hours.
Oh, you're good, man. It's super interesting.
It takes forever, but it is super, super fun. And ironically enough, so we're on episode 4 right now. And I think the current plan is there's going to be 7 episodes in season 1, and we have 3 seasons planned. So there's like a whole plan for this thing. Okay. And every time I try to get a little bit better. I try to improve every time. And I think it shows, because I do want to take this seriously. I want to one day be able to do this professionally. So I think it's important to improve and show people that I am improving, because, you know, you watch it. It's not perfect. Like, you'll notice things that are off. If you look super close at someone, if you look super close at fingers, right? Like, the mocap doesn't do very good at fingers, and I'm too lazy and I don't want to go in and fix it up. Like, you'll notice things that are off, but we're steadily getting to a point where I can look at it and really, really be proud of what it is we're making. And I hope that as long as there's, you know, some people out there watching it, I'll keep making it. Yeah. And I hope we can see all 3 of these seasons through, because I think it'll be really cool if we're able to do that. I think you had asked about, how these types of things are made, and I touched on it a little bit, but yeah, generally it's Blender, the mocap suit, Blender, the 3D program, the mocap suit, you know, Adobe Premiere Pro for editing, Audacity for voice mixing and whatnot. Occasionally some After Effects. Is there another program I'm missing? I don't think there is. We've gotten it down to a generally like smoothed out pipeline. I mean, honestly, it is kind of impressive that the episodes take forever to get out, and I feel bad about that, because I wish I could get them out sooner, but it is a lot, right? It is a lot to make fully rendered. God, episode 3 was like 30 minutes long. Like, it was a long, and most of that is animated. Almost all of it is. So it is a lot. I had to get a new computer before Edge of Fate came out, because my last one pretty much died because of the rendering. I rendered like a 15-minute scene on it. Maybe not 15 minutes. Maybe it was like an 8-minute scene, but it was taking like 45 seconds per frame to render, and that's like 15,000 frames. And my computer actually started dying, so I had to get a new computer because of it. rendering, whether it's Premiere or like 3D stuff, is like smoking for your computer. It only has so many like cigarettes in it before it gives out. For sure. And my computer gave out. But yeah, that's the incredibly long-winded way of describing the series, I guess. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome, man, because I think, you know, to your credit, and to circle back to a point you made, which was like, okay, I could have X if I was not expending energy here. My question to you would be like, is that what you want, right? Because like, you just laid out for us what you want, which is, you know, to to at some point be able to step away from it and to be able to pursue a career doing doing animation and things. And it sounds like, man, you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. You're developing these skills. You're building a portfolio out. You're doing this, and you are entertaining people, like people are watching, and you're to the crux of what we've talked about today. You're creating your own fun, right? Like it's not in game. It's you creating this fan fiction, this like offshoot from the series in your own way. And so like that would be my thing, is less of a, like, I understand what you mean where you say like number go burr. It's like, well, if I just keep hammering the stuff that works, and it's like, okay, well, how many raids can we do with trace rifles only? It's like, well, it's super entertaining every time we watch it, but like at a certain point, it's like, is that what I want for me? And
and it does, like it. There came a point where I did. It was probably around Edge of Fate. It was probably around Final Shape, honestly, where I got to the point where I genuinely was, and I still kind of am, like tired of the raid videos. Like I was just getting kind of tired of doing them. Because I was feeling the inevitable pressure of one day my friends are going to stop playing this game, and that day is like potentially very soon.
Sure.
And I was like, I can, sure, option A is like do as many of these as possible while they're still on and playing and get as much, traction out of this as I can. Or option B is start waning myself off of these crutch videos, and start doing more of what I want to do. And so to your point of would that even be like something that I want, is like that's the thing. The answer is no. Like I don't. Ultimately, I've made my peace with, as long as I'm able to support myself, even if it's at the bare minimum of like what I need to just survive and keep doing this. To me, that's worth it. Like, to me, sure. I'm so passionate about the storytelling aspect of things. I'm so passionate about this game that I'm willing to sacrifice that big number going up. Like, I'm willing to accept, I'll probably, at this rate, I probably will never hit 200,000 subscribers unless, like, Destiny 3 comes out, right? Which sure. I know there's been talks about. I accepted a long time ago, there is a ceiling with Destiny content. Like, this isn't the biggest game in the world, and I'm fine with that. Like, that is totally fine by me for all the reasons you just laid out, like the portfolio, the finding ways to still have fun even when the game isn't fun. When the seasons are at their low point for the year, like when player counts are at their lowest for the year, my response to that is usually not to double down on things like raid content, because if people aren't playing the game, chances are me and my friends aren't either. Like, and they don't have any dog in this fight. Like, if they're not playing, I don't want to force them to get on and play, because then we're just not having a good time. And if we're not having a good time, the content sucks. So usually when things get dry, I actually just kind of take it as like break time and time to work on animated stuff, because, well, I'm not missing out on much anyway, is kind of my mentality. So why burn out trying to chase this high when I could just, work on something else for a bit? So I think it is, even though, sure, the big number could go up, and YouTubers like it when the big number goes up. Everyone's different, but that's I've made peace with the fact that that's not me, and ultimately that's not something that I really want. Sure, it'd be great. I'd be super happy if like the Redacted series just popped off tomorrow, but I'm not naive enough to think that that's going to happen, and I'm okay with that. And I'm still going to do, regular Destiny stuff. I seriously am really excited about Renegades, not because I think Renegades looks fantastic, but because I miss making content on the game. Like, I'm ready to get back into it. But, that excitement will wane. A few weeks after Renegades comes out, when we've done the dungeon, when we've done everything there is to do, it's going to be the animated stuff that keeps my spirits alive. So I would definitely say I prefer it that way. And I understand that does disappoint some people, and that does disappoint some people in my audience who do just want to see more of the thing that they went there for, right? Like, that's totally understandable. But I'm like, guys, at the end of the day, you can't fabricate good times. Like, good times come when they come.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like everyone's just so happy to be running Root of Nightmares for some reason. Like,
right, yeah.
That's just, it's not fun. And I think people will be able to tell very fast when we're not having fun.
Yeah. I had a guy come into my comment section the other day, and he said something like, it's like, this, I think he was, I'm hoping he was well intentioned, but it was on this channel, so it was like a very small, the podcast channel. He said, brother, I enjoy the videos, but I can tell that you are completely biased and brainwashed by, and all this stuff. So it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna give you like the tiniest compliment at the top, and then just like bash at the back end. And I had written out so many responses to it, right? Because like I want to engage in dialogue with people who take their time, right? Like if someone just gets on like Deadstiny, like that's all they post, I'm just like whatever. Like
that's useless.
Yeah, that there's nothing there. They literally did it. They are not thinking of it, so I'm wasting any time. But if someone took, they took like 4 or 5, 10 minutes, whatever, to write out something, and it's long, and then they're like,
and thoughtful I can't always, on some level.
Yeah, I can't always get in there, and they could be wrong about everything they're doing, but they took the time, so it's like, well, as you're doing, so I just responded back to him. I said, man, I don't know what you want from me. I said, if you're wanting just negativity, there's plenty of creators who are just doing that. That's like bare minimum. That's low bar. You can do that. I said, the content that I make is going to be a direct reflection of how I actually feel about the game, which is I enjoy the game, but I don't play it as much. Like you said, I played Destiny so much less in the last 6 months than I ever have in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, just because like I get on, do things intentionally, get footage for what I'm doing. It's intentional streams, things of this sort. And so I just had to respond to the guy and just be like, hey, I'm sorry. If you don't want to hear someone talk positively about Destiny, what I like about it, my positive suggestions for the game, even on a small channel like this, I'm sorry, you're going to have to unsubscribe.
At that point, you're looking for it, right? You're looking for that kind of negative feedback loop. I think Dado said a similar thing at one point in one of his videos that you just did of like, if you want that negative feedback, there's plenty of places for that, but don't go looking for it in places where it isn't, and don't try to see something don't try to see the thing you want to see where it isn't, right? Don't look at someone who is just having a good time with it, and maybe they're giving their constructive feedback, but ultimately they still love the game, and look at it through this, I mean, let's call it what it is, like this warped, oh shit. Sometimes my camera does this.
Yeah, you triggered the hand. Yeah,
it does that sometimes.
That's so funny.
Untrack me, Tiny. Tiny. My camera's name is Tiny.
Okay.
And it doesn't like to listen. There we go. Now it's not following me. It does that sometimes. It'll do it on stream if I in like the most excited. I'll be like, holy shit! I throw my hands up. It zooms in on my face. I'm like, Tiny, stop.
I was watching one where you went off to the side, kind of over by where your motion suit is, and then it just tracked to the back of your monitor or whatever.
Yeah,
and that was so funny.
It just goes all. It has a mind of its own, but yeah, sometimes people will try to see things where it isn't, and even if not to say that like you or I are just totally positive all the time. Like we have criticisms of the games. The game probably frustrates you sometimes, right? And that's normal. But to go in and be like, yo, you're just trying to be happy. It's like, Occam's razor, dude. Maybe I'm just happy. Like maybe I'm just genuinely not so butthurt over this.
Or what's so bad about trying to be happy? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And if you are trying to be happy, is that not the goal of life?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. I don't overcomplicate things. Like I overthink things, but I don't like to overcomplicate.
The goal of life, the goal of video games, the goal of existing is like the pursuit of happiness.
To be happy. Yeah. Not to some people, man. To some people it is to like.
You're right.
Do you want to just like keep getting fed this slop? I'm like, well, if the slop tastes good, like, and right now it doesn't, but if it did, I'd be happy, Yeah.
Well, man, let's wrap up today. I want to just ask a couple like top easy questions. What's your favorite video you've ever made?
Oh shit.
That's easy. I said easy questions in chat.
I knew
I was asking him.
You cannot ask me that. Oh.
Okay. What pops in your mind quickly?
It's one of the animated ones. I don't know which one it would be. Actually, no, never mind. I do have an answer for this. It's cheating. It's absolutely cheating. I posted it after we were done the final shape Nuzlocke. I posted a video titled "The Entire Light and Dark Nuzlocke." It's like 7 hours long, and it is starting with the Witch Queen, ending with the final shape. Every video in that series pushed together. That's my favorite video. It's like awesome. 6 videos all in one. But that's my favorite video.
That's all right, man. I mean, that's all your work. That's great. What is your favorite exotic in the game?
Vex Mythoclast.
In the history of Destiny, what's your favorite exotic?
Vex Mythoclast, easy.
Vex?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I am a Vex enjoyer. Vault of Glass, I like things that are hard to get. Yeah. So Vex is ingrained in my mind. Like, that was the OG difficult exotic to find because it was just RNG. There was like no other way to get it. You just ran into it and got it.
Is that what is your quick and dirty, like, how did you get Vex? Tell me about that.
I've gotten it twice, once in D1, once in D2. And D1, I got it. Both times have been very lucky. Like, I wish I had some extravagant story, but I just got lucky. It was like I think at D1 you could only get it from hard mode, Vault of Glass, I want to say.
Something like that.
It was like my second time doing it. I got it. Same thing with D2. It's like my third or fourth time doing it. I know some people who've gone 300 clears of Atheon and they still don't have it. But I'm generally very lucky with these raid exotics, so it's not as interesting. I got it and I was like, yay. That's awesome. And now I have Vex.
That's great. So what is your big hope? Let's say big swing for, we're not talking Renegades because we, to be honest, we know literally everything. It feels like we've seen every crevice of Renegades, which I kind of wanted to get into, but I think we'll probably save that for another day. That's a nuanced discussion there. But give me a top level. What's something that they don't have in the game that you wish that they just throw in there?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm hoping that this D3 thing ends up panning out, just because I do think the game kind of needs it. I think we need a refresh. But as far as D2, I would really like my top 3 list, top 4, top 4 list would be clan housing, Ahamkara in any capacity, just because I'm a sucker for them.
Sure.
I'm forgetting the other 2. Clan house. Oh. Combined Arms, Game Mode, and Crucible. I loved Combined Arms in D1. For anyone who doesn't know, that was like big team battle from Halo. It had vehicles and turrets. I think Combined Arms would be super, super fun. And Sparrow Racing. I think those would be my 4. Nope, never mind. I'm sorry, Sparrow Racing enjoyers. I'm taking that one out. I would like to see loot be like interesting again. I don't think loot has been interesting in a while. So however they do that, I'd like to be interested about loot again.
Yeah. My hope, I have so many hopes for, to be honest, I don't even have that many hopes for D2 right now. Like, I enjoy D2. I think it's in a great place. I think they need to let it just exist in perpetuity like D1 does right now. Mm-hmm. I love going back to play D1 right now. I've had some streams earlier, or like last month, things like that. I wish that they kind of give us the send-off and then just lock in. I've claimed, and the thing that I want for the Destiny franchise, other than like a Cyberpunk Edge Runners type thing, I think it would make too much sense.
Like a TV show?
Yeah, too much sense. Just like give me something on Amazon. Give me something like partner with Apple. Like that's something that they're missing in their portfolio. Like get something like that would be insane. But what I've called for is I would love for us to go off system. I don't know all the lore behind it, so maybe you tell me, hey, that's not actually viable. I would love to go take Keitel and take like a fire team of 3 total, and let's go take back Torobatl. Let's just eradicate everything, get out of the soul system, like just do it, right? Like
something completely new.
Just go out there. We're outside, maybe we're outside of those depths, so we don't have these darkness powers. We don't have access to Prismatic anymore. Like all this stuff, whatever it takes for us to simplify, give us the ODST/Reach-esque Destiny
would be interesting.
Thing. And
That'd
then
be really interesting.
Let them cook underneath, man. Like give us a really refined PvP sandbox. Give us a really refined, like tight, experience with the actual PvE side of things, and then let them cook and do that. I don't know. I have wanted it so bad, but
that's a big criticism I've had with Destiny for a while. Is like I am one of the PvE guys, but when I get on, like I got on Destiny the other day for a little bit. I played Crucible the whole time, and it's not because I love the PvE side of things, but I only like it when it's challenging and I mean, shocker here, sizzling hot take, rewarding. And so like most of the portal activities don't do it for me because it doesn't feel, enemies just fall over. Like they feel like they're just made of paper mache, and sometimes it feels like the difficulty dial in Destiny is you're either all the way on with like grandmasters and raids, or you're all the way off with some of the portal activities and you're just mindlessly blitzing through it. I'd like to see that middle area established a bit more. And to be fair, maybe it is, and I just haven't run a lot of it because I don't find the loot to be very enticing. So like that's totally possible. What would be really cool if they ended up doing that Torobatl idea is, so okay, if maybe for whatever reason we can't use our abilities out there, it's more refined, more Reach ODST like, perfect time for the Kinetic subclass. Ooh. Right? Titans get a big Gatling gun. Maybe, I don't know what Warlocks would do. Warlocks would be the hardest one to figure out. But I've seen so many concepts of a Kinetic subclass.
What if they had to actually channel like legitimate magic? Like they had to actually have like books and like their cast.
Or Hive magic. They're like, dude, if you can't beat them, join them. Like,
honestly,
start summoning Hive. They want to do these destination abilities, make it so that when you go to Torobatl, all your main abilities is shut off, and you're now reliant on these like Cabal reinforcements and Hive abilities to like take back the field.
Because the Hive have completely taken over Torobatl, so like maybe they've just like so ingrained, dude. There's so much there, and I don't know. I mean, obviously, like that's just like, you know, that's more the ground that you play in, right? Like your sandbox for your channel. And stuff,
I'm sure that'd be like so difficult from a game dev standpoint to do because there's so many systems. Well,
I don't know. I mean, just start again. Just start again. You know what I mean?
Just do it, Bungie. Like,
yeah.
I mean, look at Renegades.
Control C, Control V, delete, stasis, delete. Yeah.
I mean, look at Renegades, right? We have the little coins, the destination abilities we're having. Like, one of my big concerns with Renegades is that those won't feel very impactful because we are so powerful. Like by the time the big Star Wars walker hits the ground, are the enemies already going to be gone because I can just super them just as fast? But if you're on Torobatl and I can't Thunder Crash them, like, or at least maybe not as often, suddenly that is much more meaningful. Like those destination abilities are so much more meaningful to me as a player because I'm relying on them.
I mean, it could honestly turn more into like a Helldivers-esque game too.
Yeah,
right,
I mean, they're
like
messing around with the extraction stuff in the Lawless Frontier. So maybe you asked about wishes for Destiny. I want them to stop ditching gameplay mechanics. I'd like to see them like the stuff they develop for an expansion. If you can, on some level, bring that forward. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's great. All right, last question for you. What is best class and why is it Titan?
Okay, it's Titan for two main reasons. Thunder Crash, the fashion, because hunters have everything asymmetrical. It's the fashion and Thunder Crash. That's like my two main reasons for playing Titan. It's so easy. I go into a raid, I don't need to think. It's just if the boss is within, yay distance, they can be Thunder Crashed. Even if they're not, they can probably be Thunder Crashed. Yeah. We're so simple, and it's so easy to do well. It pisses other people off. Like Warlocks, they get mad at us, but it's so easy to outperform everyone else on the team as a Titan. I love it.
That's awesome. Well, Toad, thank you very much, man. Thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for coming on. Guys, thank you very much for watching. If you're still hanging out with us, I appreciate you very much. Consider subscribing to not only my channel, but ToadSmoothie's channel. Let us know in the comment section, what do you think about creating content for the game and exploring these things? If you are someone who's aspirational, leave your questions down below. I love these conversations, these deep dives. So once again, thank you very much, man. Until next time, y'all, be blessed.